Hey guys, okay, I'm finally getting this video to upload. Anyway, I wanted to post a video for a really long time because I've had a lot of requests for a video on how I do my highlights in my hair. So anyway, I finally ended up recording myself as I was highlighting my hair. So this time I usually use, I think it's called Frost and Glow. It's like a highlighting kit with a net that you can buy at like Shoppers Drug Mart or places like that. Instead of using Frost and Glow this time, I used Frost and Tip by Nice and Easy, which I have not used before, but the reason I wanted to use it was because, as you can see here, you can use it on really light hair or you can use it on dark hair. It's supposed to give you like a very ashy highlight, which seemed intriguing to me, so I really wanted to try it out to see if it could actually lift my highlights more than the type that I usually use. So anyway, I recorded myself and I will add that to the end of the video once I finish explaining. So I tried this product, and it's basically what you do is you put the net on your head, so it's like a cap and it goes on like fitted, and then you tie it, and then you have like, it's almost like a crochet tool, and it has a little hook on the end, and you poke it through each of the holes in the plastic layer, and you pull hairs out so you can get evenly distributed highlights without bleaching the rest of your hair. And it's very easy to use if you aren't experienced, or you're really not good at coloring your own hair and you don't want to get it done by someone else. Then it's a really good alternative. The only thing is, when you're using a bleach like this, you have to be careful with how long you leave it on, because it can cause breakage. So anyway, this box said maximum 90 minutes, so I figured they're probably using a pretty low volume, because I don't know, sometimes you use it and like your hair will go blonde really quick. So this one, I found it took a while, but I kept washing my hair and I washed it out when it turned to like a very bright blonde with like just a tint of yellow. So that's what I did, and I noticed it worked really well. It actually, as you can see, like my highlights are pretty light, and my hair before I highlighted it was getting pretty dark and brassy, so I'm really happy with the way this worked. The only thing that I didn't like about it is the tool to actually do your hair that comes with it. The hook on it, I don't know, it's a little bit thick for my liking, so I found every time I put it in and pulled the hair out, it would pull out like a big chunk of hair instead of just pulling out like little strands here and there. So that's the only thing that I didn't like about it, but it's really easy to like buy a different tool and use your own that's more precise, maybe like a metal one or something. So that's the only thing I didn't like about it. The one thing that I want to mention is, when you use a highlighting kit like this, there usually isn't like a toner in the actual kit. So what ends up happening is you end up highlighting your hair. It's like a bleach and developer, and you have the highlights, and then when you rinse it out, your hair is going to be like a very yellowy color. Like any parts where you have the highlight, it's not going to be ashy like this, it's going to be more of a yellow. So what you want to do after you do this is you want to buy a toner. So as I've mentioned in my other videos tons of times, because like every once in a while I'll tone my hair just for the hell of it, just to get any brassiness out, what you really want to use is toner. So if you want really ashy highlights and you want to have like that gray ashy look, just use T18 by Wella. It's Color Charm. And I get this at Sally's Beauty Supply, but because I didn't want to go super ashy, what I did is I used both T18 and T11, and I took the whole bottles, I measured to how much it was, and I put them in, and then I put, for 1 part toner, you want 2 parts developer. I used, I believe it's Ion Color Brilliance, I think that's what it's called. It's like in a big purple bottle, and I used 20 volume. So 2 parts developer for 1 part toner, as it says on the box. And then I mixed it in the bowl, and then I did it, first I started with my roots. As I show in my other videos, I have videos on my channel about this. I start with my roots, and whatever part like I just highlighted, like all the new highlights, and then I do the rest of my hair, because I have a lot of like really light ends, so I didn't want to leave the toner on too long because it would make it very ashy. So I did that, I let it sit for a little bit, and then I rinsed it all out, and that's why my highlights are not yellow right now. So that's basically what you want to do. I really like this product, so if you want to go blonde, you can watch all my other videos where I explain how I got the base tone, because my hair is very dark naturally. It's like a dark brown, close to a black, so to get it this light without damaging it is tough, but I do it because if you look, you can see my hair is actually very long and it is healthy, and I've been coloring my hair on my own for years now, and I don't have damage or breakage or anything. So this method has worked really well for me, so if you want to try it, go ahead. I'm going to add in the video now where you can see how I do the highlights. Okay, bye guys. Okay, so this is how I do the highlights in my hair. As you can see, my roots are very brassy. The highlighting kit comes with a cap that you put on your head. So basically, it's pretty fitted, so you just separate your hair how you would usually separate it when you're styling it, and make sure it's all brushed out so that you don't have any tangles. It'll make it a lot easier when you're actually pulling the hair through the cap. Then you just put the cap on and tie it so it's fitted, and there's like a little visor type thing that you just want to stick out so that way when you're actually putting the color in, you don't get any bleach in your eyes. And then this is like a crochet tool, and it's hard to explain how to use it, but basically it's just experience. Like, it has a little hook on the end, so you have to push it hard enough that you push it through both the cap and the layer of plastic underneath, and then you just pull strands of hair through. I like to brush them as I'm going because the more tangled they get, it just gets a lot harder to continue pulling strands through, so I just pull them through and then brush it to make sure all the hair is tangle free. I started with the sides and then I work my way to the top just so I can make sure that I'm getting highlights exactly where I want. Most of the highlights I do are just to frame the face and just around like the top of my head. I don't do a whole lot underneath, just to try to minimize the amount of damage. When I do my highlights, this is the only time I actually use bleach, and I only do highlights about twice a year just to lighten up the roots and keep the hair growing out lighter. And at this point, as you can see, my roots are pretty brassy, so it seemed like a good time to go and highlight it again. So basically I just keep going through using the tool and pulling the hair out from the cap. This tool does pull out strands that are a little bit thick. I noticed other sets are a little bit easier. Okay, and then after you're done with the cap, then you just want to mix the bleach mixture. So basically you have a packet, it's like a dry powder for the bleach, and then you have a developer, and you mix them both in this plastic container that comes with it. And at the back of the crochet tool, there's actually like a little spatula, and you use that to just mix it together. And then because I didn't have a brush with me, I just moved, so I don't have any of my old hair stuff with me, I just ended up using the spatula tool and my gloves to put the bleach on. And I started with the roots since my roots were really brassy compared to the rest of my hair. So I started by just going to the brassiest parts and really making sure that they were covered with bleach. Usually I would use like a brush for this, but because I didn't have it with me and I really wanted to get my roots done before I went on and bought my developer or my toner, I just made do with what came with it. So I start around like the top of my head just to make sure to cover all of the brassy parts, and then I work my way to the sides, making sure you cover all of the roots. The nice thing about this cap is that nothing bleeds through into the hair underneath, so it really does give you evenly distributed highlights without having like any blotches of blonde or anything like that. I work my way to the back and then do the roots to the back of the head. It's a lot easier doing this process if you have someone to help you both with pulling the hair through the cap at the back, and someone to help you bleach the back. It'll make your life a lot easier if you have someone to give you a hand. Then once I've done the roots, I just make sure that they're all like completely covered because I don't want it blotchy or anything. I want it actually to all go a lot lighter. So I do that, and once that's done, then I end up putting the bleach on the rest of the hair. And this is how it looks afterwards. As you can see, it's like very light blonde, but with a yellow tint, and that is why I use toner. So you can go to my channel to see how I tone my hair. Thanks.